Recently, I released a crash course video basically summarizing the work that I had done for pyATS, creating the Unicon plugin for Dell OS6 devices, as well as creating a couple parsers for Dell OS6 devices. I thought it would be really cool, though, if we actually dug more into those parsers. So what I'm going to do in this video is record myself working through creating a parser from scratch. That way you can kind of see what my thought process is and how I go line for line actually creating a parser. So here's how we go. Here's how we get started creating a parser for Genie and pyATS. Let's get going. All right, so here we go. We are going to get started off by working in my local containerized environment. If you haven't watched, I've actually got a couple videos now on how I've been doing pyATS development and how you can get started doing pyATS development with the pyATS container. So if you haven't checked out those videos, I'm going to put links in the description so that you can figure out how I'm using my local development environment in general, as well as how I'm actually doing pyATS development. So here we go. I'm going to fire up my local container where I've got my pyATS environment already built out, as well as the Git repos that I'm working with. I, of course, forked the Git repos. So let's get this going here. I'm going to connect into that container. I'll say attach to a running container, and there's pyATS dev. Now I've been doing some other work here. So let's go ahead and kind of close these out, and we'll take a look at what we got here. So in my working folder, I've got my Genie parsers, and I've got, let's see, just Genie parsers? Working Genie parsers. There's Unicon. Unicon's down here too. And I've got my testbed device already set up here in my working folder so I can connect into them. So if I look here, my tester.py script, this is what I'm using just to test things out. So let's do this. Let's bring up the terminal and let's do source bin activate in order to launch the virtual environment with pyATS. So at this point, I'll change into my working folder and I'll just do a little sanity test. I'll just do a dry run here, python tester.py, and this should, there we go. So it looks like it connected in, got the routes, and then this is the parsed output right there at the bottom. So I know that my environment locally is up and running. So let's do this. Let's fire up the CLI, get connected to my Dell OS6 appliance, enable mode, 1, 2, 3, 4, there we go. And here we go. So let's start off with, let's do something like, I don't know, show what? Should I do like show MAC address table? That could be a good one. Pretty easy. What about show IP protocols? Also pretty easy. I think I'm going to go with show MAC address table. That's what we're going to do in this one. Let's do show MAC address table. All right, so under Genie parsers, I'm going to go into src for source, then Genie, then libs, then parser, then Dell OS6, and this is where I want my parser to be. I'm also going to have to create tests. So let's start off by creating the file itself in Dell OS6, and it'll be show MAC. I don't know how they want to do this. Address hyphen table, maybe? .py. Let's check real quick and see if they've done this for like iOS XE. Show, nope, not there. Let's see if it's somewhere else, like Catalyst 3850s. Nope, not there. What about iOS? Nope, no show MAC address table there. Huh. Thought this would have been a more popular one to do. Well, I guess let's just boldly go, huh? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy the output. I'm just going to copy one of these scripts. Just copy and paste, and then we'll tweak them along the way. Copy, paste, there we go. All right. So let's start one line at a time. Schema for show MAC address table quote. There's the first thing we're doing. Next thing, we've got the schema. So this is what's going to define the output. And I don't like setting the schema until I know what variables I'm working with first. That's why I skip creating the schema first. So what I am going to do is I'm going to jump ahead to where we're actually building the parsers and grab these variables first, and then we'll come back and build the schema based on the data. This will make more sense in a second. So I'm going to grab this output. It's going to look like this. There we go. And I'm going to jump back here. And down here under, well, first of all, let's change the name of the class. This is going to be show MAC address table schema. And then down here in the next class, this is where we're actually building the parsers. This will just be show MAC address table. Here, let's do this. Let's do show MAC address table schema, because that's what we pass into the class itself. And now for the text, parser for show MAC address table on Dell PowerSwitch OS6 devices. All right, the CLI command itself, no abbreviations here. This matters. Show MAC address table. And then as you can see right here, this chunk is what the expected output should be from the CLI command. So I'll paste this in and I'll tab it just a little bit so it's nice and pretty. And to go ahead and set myself up for success, I'm also going to bring up regex101.com. So I'll go to regex101.com. And I'm going to put the test string in right here just like that. Now this is what we're going to start working with. Okay, so the first set here is we're going to define CLI. We leave that alone. We leave this if and else out. We leave all these first 4 lines here from if output is none all the way down through the else out equals output. Leave that alone. I'm going to set a main dictionary called Mac table dict. So that way up here, this is what the Mac table dict is going to be. The result dict is going to be containing all of the results for each item here. So it's going to look like this. I'm going to create a primary key called max. And then I have to decide how I want to handle this. What's going to be a unique way to identify each MAC address and contain the data in a clever way? To me, you would think that the key would be the MAC address, and then it would contain a dictionary that specifies the VLAN, the type, and the port. That's how I think I'm going to build this. So what we'll say is I'm gonna jump down past these regex express. Actually, no, I'm not. We're going to come back to that. This will make more sense in a second. Yeah. Yeah, I see where we're going now. Okay. So, all right. So what we're going to do here is we're going to loop over each one of these lines, and it has to match a regex expression. Now the question is, do I care about total MAC addresses in use or aging time? Do I want to return this data from the parser? I don't think so. I think I only care about the actual MAC table itself right now. So let's work on that. All right. So first thing I notice is the leading characters in the MAC table are digits. So if I say the first character is a digit, repeating as many times as we want, that matches my leading characters. The next character, oh, and that's not what we want either. We actually want to save each one of those as a variable. So I'll open question mark and P, and I'll call this VLAN. So that's going to create the variable called VLAN within the parentheses, matching digit, plus, there we go. So open parentheses, question mark P, specify in braces what I want my variable name to be as VLAN. Then D matches digit plus says repeating as many times as we want, because this could be 1, this could be 4094. So I have repeating digits as many times as we want, then close parentheses, and that's how it captures the variable. Then I'm going to say space as many times as we want, and this leads up to the MAC address. So I'm going to open parentheses again, question mark, P. Let's do brace thingy again, BIA for burned in address. And then here's what we're going to do. We're going to do W for either a character or a number. I believe that's right. Plus, repeated as many times as we want. An escaped period. W again, repeated as many times as we want. An escaped period. W again, repeated as many times as we want. Close. Got it. So now we've got the MAC address. Then we have space, repeated as many times as we want. We're going to open another variable here because we want to capture the type. P type. And here, I don't know anything outside of dynamic management or static. Is that one of the ones? I'd have to Google it. So here I'm going to open a brace and I'm going to put management pipe static. Let's see if that works. It does not. Maybe it wasn't a brace. Maybe that was a parentheses. That was supposed to be. Parentheses. Okay, so it captures management, but not static. Regex cheat sheet. Range, not in range. Let's see. Is pipe on this list? Where's pipe? No. I've done this in the past. When did I do this in the past? Let's look at the other one. Was it route? Ah, yeah, it was a parentheses pipe and then a space. Okay. Oh, I put static. It's supposed to be dynamic. Oh, so there we go. Just typed the wrong thing. Let's delete these spaces out. So outside of the parentheses, we'll say spaces again, repeating as many times as needed. And my last variable here is going to be port. And this can just match anything for the rest of the line. Oh, there we go. So now I have my regex expression. I'll jump back to my code. And I'm going to set P0 here. We've set up the dictionaries that's going to contain the data. Now we're setting up the regex expression to match on. So let me just delete this out. And on this line here that says P0 compile, there is my regex expression. So, oops, wrong file. Here we go, back to P0. Before we messed that up, that would have been terrible. That would have been embarrassing. Okay. There we go. And now I don't need these other two regex expressions. This is the only expression I care about matching on at this time. So what it's going to do is it's going to run the command. It's going to grab this whole output here, and then it's going to loop over it one line at a time. And right here, you can see this line, P0.match. So here's the compiled regex expression. We're using the match expression on the line that we're looping over. So if the regex expression matches this line, VLAN here, the 1, is going to be placed into a variable called VLAN. And the MAC address is going to be placed into a variable called BIA. And the type is going to be placed into a variable called type. And the port is going to be placed into a variable called port. So that's how we're going to do this. So we could pretty much delete this chunk out here. So on the first part is if, so we're going to match the line. If m is true, then we've matched. And what we need to do is we need to start setting variables. In this case, I'll put VLAN equals m group dict, because that's how regex returns these. And we say VLAN. So now my VLAN is going to be matched to, this VLAN variable is going to be equal to the group dictionary that's returned by the regex matching expression containing the key variable. Next line, we have the MAC address, or the burned in address. Same thing here, group dict. And we're going to put BIA. Next line here, we've got type m.groupdict, type, port, and there we go. So now all of my stuff is contained within these variables. What we have to do now is we need to set up the actual output itself. So here's what I think it's going to look like, the actual output itself. First, let's look at show IP route. So I'm going to set up the main primary key that it's going to work with. I'm going to copy these lines here that say if routes not in route dict. Set the default key to be routes with an open dictionary. And that is held in a dictionary called result dict. So let's copy this and put this here. We'll now change this to be if max not in mac table dict. The result dict is going to be mac table dict set default. So what this is really going to look like at the end of the day is it's going to look like output, just as an sample output. It's going to start with max and then an open dictionary. So what we've done here, this result dict equals, the result dict is a dictionary where the default key is max. So basically what result dict is everything contained within the key of max. So now what I want is I want the burned in address to be the next key. So it'd be something like this, but it's not BIA. It's actually going to be the actual variable of the burned in address. So here's what it's going to look like. We're going to set result dict burn in address equal to an open dictionary. So that's going to create the burned in address here with an open dictionary. And now we can add the properties of VLAN type and port to it. So we'll say result dict BIA. We'll say VLAN will be the name of this key, is going to equal VLAN. And result dict BIA type is going to equal type. And result dict BIA port will be the name of that key. And it will be port. Deleting that out and cleaning that up. Okay, so now we actually have the structure of how this is going to look. So now we can jump back and create our schema. So first off, we've got max as the main key, which we set. Then our next key is going to be the open dictionary of burned in address. So the way we write that in the schema is kind of already stated here. It's just any, meaning we're able to accept any data or any string being the next key in our dictionary. Then we specify VLAN type and port. And looking at the output here, honestly, I think it's okay to leave all of these as string. So I'm going to change this to be VLAN. I'm going to change this to be type. I'm going to change this to be port, and I'm going to delete you and you. And let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3 open braces, 1, 2, 3 close braces. I think we did it. Okay. So let's see. I really don't know if this is going to work with that hyphen in show MAC address table. This is going to take me for a loop. Let's change into Genie parsers. We need to first develop. So I did make develop there. Now I need to make JSON. And this is what's going to override the Genie installation with the local Genie folder that I've created here and cloned off. Okay, everything looks good. Moment of truth. Show MAC address table. Save it. Change back to that folder and run the script. I'll be. Ta-da! Cool, hard part's done. Now all that's left is to create the tests. So under the test folder here in Dell OS6, I'm going to create a new folder called show MAC address table. And if you look in the other folder structures, we've got one folder called empty and one folder called equal. So I'll do new folder called empty. And right here, I'll do new folder called equal. In empty, the files are always the same. It's empty output text. So here I'll do new file, empty output text, and equal. If you look at equal, we have the expected output, which contains the keys. Guess what? I'm just going to copy this right here. Control C to copy that. On Google, I'll just choose JSON. I'll Google JSON pretty. There's a JSON formatter here. Copy this. So I've got my pretty format, and under my equal folder, I'll choose a new file. We'll call this golden output 1 expected.py. I create a variable called expected output, paste in my expected output, and there it is. Very cool. The last file here to create under equal is golden output 1 output.txt. And this is our actual text output right here. Paste it in, can unindent it all, and save it. Okay, last thing we need to do is actually create the unit test itself. So here we go. You see under unit test, I've got test show, test show, test show. That's what I'm going to do here. So let's kind of contract these empty and equals and the folders here, here, and here. Okay, under tests, let's do new file, test show MAC address table. And I'm just going to copy show IP route again, paste it into show MAC address table. So here we've got the expected output and the golden output. Guess what we're going to copy this from? We're going to copy all the way down here. And my expected output. Boop. Okay, so my golden output has now been saved. Oh, we got to do some renaming, don't we? Let's rename the class test show MAC address table. And let's change this text here, test show MAC address table. And the golden output. So I can close you now. Copy this. Paste this. Let's go ahead and indent it. And last thing is change this definition. MAC address table. It has the exact same name as the class. That is correct. And then the object here, show MAC address table, which means we need to import it. What did I name this again? Address table. Ooh, I don't think it's going to like that. I don't know what it's going to do with that hyphen in the name. Let's rename it and see if that makes a difference. And change this to be underscore. Real quick, we're just going to rebuild this, make develop, and make JSON. I want to see if changing that underscore made a difference, if it broke anything at all. We'll rerun the tester. Python tester py. Did not make a difference. Okay, so underscore table works just fine. I have my test now. The last thing I need to do is I have to move this to the official test folder. So what I'm going to do is I've got the test show MAC address table highlighted here. I need to rename this to have an underscore. And I'm also going to grab the associated show MAC address table folder. I'm going to copy these. And under Genie, actually, yeah, under Genie Parser, there is a test folder, and there's Dell OS6, and I'm going to paste these in. Nothing needed in init. Everything looks good. And one final sanity check to make sure it runs perfectly fine. Let's check in the code. Oh, nope, let's not check in the code. Do not check in the code. Change log. We have to update the change log. So under the change log folder, we'll go into undistributed. And since they haven't, you know what, I'm just going to do new file. Change log, add Dell OS6 Mac table. Today is 2020. I think today's the 20th, 21st. 21st, 12. It is 306. RST. Just going to copy this one that has new setup right here in the center. Paste. Added parser. Show MAC address table. Now I have everything set up. So I am going to check all of these in, just verify they all look good. Nothing here is altering an existing file. That's what I want to make sure of. Looking good. Okay. Stage all changes. Ooh, no, don't revert all changes. Stage all changes. Commit message is add Dell OS6 show MAC address table parser, commit, and push. Final check. github.com/datanox. Repositories, Genie Parser, and I see right there, add Dell OS6 show MAC address table. Now here's the thing. If you have not already created a pull request, like I have, you'll click on pull requests and you'll choose new pull request. And this will show the comparison between Cisco's Genie Parser and your current status. It'll show what else changed between them. I have already created a pull request, so my commits have already been pulled, are already a part of that existing pull request. This one right here, pull request number 365. So I don't actually have to create a new pull request right now. It's already contemplated right there as part of this pull request that's already existing. So if I actually go to the actual Genie Parser, this is Cisco Test Automation Genie Parser, pull request. There's my add Dell OS6 parsers right there. And we can see right there, add Dell OS6 show MAC address table parser has already been contemplated as part of this pull request. So that's how I got this up and running, and that's how it's now in the Genie Parser section. So that's been how I work through creating a Genie Parser. Thanks for stopping by, y'all. See you in the next one.